I will sell this house today.
Welcome back. This is the Trust Radio Network here on AM560 the Answer. Here with Jim Leahy, our realtor. Trusted realtor. Deborah Schreiner is our technical producer. Our guest today is Attorney Rae Kaplan. We're talking about student loans and what the do's and don'ts.
Yes.
Right? And again, we're going to go back and talk about loans.
That's right. But before we do, remember, ladies and gentlemen, define your decade. How are you going to define it? With Leahy Real Estate.
Are we ever going to say, think about tomorrow today?
No, that's gone.
We're never going to say that again?
Maybe.
I like that too. You don't like that?
No. So I changed it to define your decade. We're going into the new 2020 starting, and we're like, hey, let's define it. How are we going to define that? Or is it going through a new house? Are you going to continue to rent? Are you going to be able to address your student loans? Are we going to have IRS problems that are going to cascade further and further down the road?
Right.
How are we going to define our decade? And it really comes down to encompassing all of our trusted professionals too. So if you have any issues whatsoever when it comes to, I need some hardwood floor specialists. Well, guess what? I got a guy. Right? I got a guy.
Chimney? You got a guy for
I got a chimney guy too.
How about sump pumps?
I got a sump pump with the basement defender with Roy Spencer.
That's
It's
right.
Jim,
amazing.
when you
decade.
help me define my decade, are you also going to send me in the mail a vision board?
I don't know what vision board is.
I cannot confirm
don't?
nor deny. If you request it, I'll send you a vision board.
I think it's a girl thing, though. I don't know that, because I think there are a lot of guys out there that are like, a what board?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, that's what I
Like an
thought.
iPad?
It's for goal setting, so you might post
I see.
pictures or
Yes.
different things on it, words,
Visuals to help you.
inspirational things.
Yes.
Okay, so I learned something on this show every week.
I'll send
You
you.
learned a lot today.
I did learn.
I'll send you a vision board with Attorney Stephen Leahy's face on there every month.
So when you have an IRS problem, you know who to call.
Confucius say, address your IRS problem today.
And not in the next decade.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as we define our decade, Leahy Real Estate with That Properties, we're with Attorney Rae Kaplan, and if you're thinking about taking that step, because I'm going to be turning 30, right? I'm still a young buck, but turning 30.
Are you a millennial?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Can you tell, though?
No.
You couldn't tell.
Actually, I can't. No, you're not like, I've
Thank
worked
you.
with some millennials.
I'm not like that. I'm not like that. But anyway, we're defining the decade with Attorney Rae Kaplan. And if you're out there and you're going, well, I'm getting into the age where I need to start thinking about, what am I going to do in the future? I need a home to have, or I need to start building towards overall happiness,
Right.
You're the person to call, and this is how can you help people when they're looking to get a loan?
Well, when you're looking to buy a home, I think one of the things is there's an element of financial planning here, and as you say, to define your decade, it really is important to have clarity over particular things, to know what it means to have a mortgage, what that mortgage payment looks like, how much you're going to pay over time, whether or not you can handle it, and the same thing goes for your federal student loans. If you know how the statute is going to work and how it's going to look, essentially, you might have $50,000 in federal student loans, and you're making some kind of an assumption that I'm never going to get approved for a mortgage. That's actually not the case, because as long as your loans are current and in good standing, and we can get you into a payment plan that's going to be 10% of your gross disposable income that you can well afford, that's easy to afford. Maybe it's the equivalent of a cell phone payment or even less than that for you, which most of the time it is. You're not going to have any problems making your mortgage payment. But if you think that you have federal student loans and, oh my God, the servicer told me that my payment's $1,500 a month, well, yeah, if you follow the standard payment plan, the payment's going to be, let's say, $1,500 a month. However, we're going to take a look at it and get you into an income-based repayment plan so that your payment is, again, a cell phone payment, and then your mortgage payment's not going to be a problem anymore.
Is that available to everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody.
It's as easy as answering yes. I mean, I'm just so glad to have you on again, because it's after Christmas. We're always kind of sitting down looking at our bills going, now I got to really address the big problem, right? The big elephant in the corner, and nobody really wants to address that.
Right.
But we got to define what we're going to be doing here for the next decade. Are we going to continue? Because I'm going into the next decade the same way I came in.
That ain't good, Jim.
No, but no,
I get it.
Continuing on
I
with
just think
that.
it's interesting that these things are out there, and what people like your age at 30, I think when you're in your 20s,
29. I'm not 30 yet.
You let things go in default, and you don't understand. It's
Right.
like that you don't think it's ever going to affect you.
Right.
But when you start becoming an adult and you want to buy a home and you want to do these things, you can't have defaulted loans.
No, and if you do have defaulted loans, we have a way to get you out of default where the default will be removed from your credit report. And I'm sure Dave Hochberg can talk about this
My
far
guy.
more than I can. But that default coming off your credit report is huge in terms of your credit score.
So let's get your phone number if we have any.
Sure, 312-294-8989.